oh, well, yeah, it's going to pass, and self-fulfilling prophecy. And, you know, the IRS just puts you on a list and just says you're in arrears. I get letters all the time saying I am, and it always start fighting it. It turns out it's made up. Again, the whole thing's a fraud to begin with. It's a collection agency for the private Federal Reserve. This is the type of stuff we're talking about. Now, this is the model where gangster crooks like Rahm Emanuel, who gives, you know, billions of dollars to fake energy companies, and Don Corzine, who steals billions of his own people's money, lies to Congress, doesn't get in trouble. That's where your tax money goes. Most of your tax money doesn't even go to defense or police or any of it. It goes to the bankers. That's why Warren Buffett's like, raise taxes on the rich, because he's exempt. He wants the middle class and new wealth, nouveau riche's money. It's so elementary. And that talking point needs to get out everywhere, because it's the truth. It's the truth. Let's go to Rahm Emanuel, to the Brady Center, about how they're just going to put you on a list. They say if you're on a no-fly list, 2 million people don't know why they're on it, can't get off of it. Last time I checked, like 30-something Congress people are on them. Little 5-year-old kids, 6-year-old kids are on them. If you're on that list and maybe a possible terrorist, no judge, no jury, you don't have access to a firearm. They're just going to expand that list, folks. Already most veterans I talk to can't buy guns even though they have no criminal record. You're just put on the list now. It's already in place. They're, just like the ATF's now telling gun shops what they can do outside of law. That's called capital T tyranny. And now these same crooks are going to have a no-fly list. And the IRS has said their ultimate plan is you're not going to be able to have a car, insurance, have a job, or travel anywhere if you're in bad steads with them. You're going to be on the no-fly list and the no-gun-buy list, and then you're going to have to turn your guns in. That's the plan. You watch. Here's Rahm Emanuel.
And I think the most simple thing we can do, and we've got to make this a #1 issue as a test vote and then take it into the election. That is, if you are on the no-fly list because you are known as maybe a possible terrorist, you cannot buy a handgun in America.
Tyrant! Listen to those criminals clapping. Those are tyrants.
And I am not one far from liking the mixing of politics and policy, but as my old boss used to say, give me that vote and throw me into that briar patch. I'll make politics out of that every day, because if it's between that terrorist list and the NRA, I know where America is going to be every time, and they're going to make the right choice, and we have got to start building on that. That is the right thing to take into the election, and it's the right policy. But if you're on that no-fly list, your access to the right to bear arms is canceled, because you're not part of the American family. You don't deserve that right.
You don't deserve that right, which is a privilege now, they're saying, to travel. This is for everybody. We're all terrorists, according to that terrorist. Patriotism in America is about groveling to tyranny and worshiping the government. That's what the American flag symbolizes now. They've taken it. And until we admit we have a foreign corporate government that's occupying our nation and butchering our Bill of Rights systematically, we have no hope of turning things around. And if people think Mitt Romney's going to save them, that the globalists are lining up, he's financed by the very same people. Now, when I call Rahm Emanuel a terrorist, he really is. His parents were the head of, his father was the head of the Irgun, the top Israeli terrorist that bombed Palestine and surrounding areas till they kicked the British out. His dad bombed British troops, blew up, King David Hotel, you name it. So he is kind of like a rock star. That's like, wow, to terrorists worldwide. He's a rock star. And he's a mafia don as well. But he's the guy that says he wants national service, and he wants you with a machine gun on a street corner. You know, the kids shoving mama and papa around and granddaddy around. I mean, if you go through any tyranny of the past, Rahm Emanuel's promoting it. You name it, he's into it. From black uniforms to national compulsory service to checkpoints. And the criminal IRS for the Federal Reserve setting up checkpoints nationwide, not letting you fly out of the country and taking your passport, which is taking your citizenship. A citizen's right is to travel and to leave to and from the country. And it's passed the Senate, and they say it's probably going to pass the House. And the media is like, oh, yeah, it's no big deal. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can't buy and sell and do if you haven't paid child support or If you got outstanding taxes now, you can't get a hunting license. It's all through a database. Now you won't be able to leave the country or travel or soon have a job. And Homeland Security is already approving most job applications for different corporations. Because they're the good guys. You know, they're the ones that ship the drugs into the United States and the guns into Mexico and Honduras. And no, they're just a mafia. They're just a bunch of crooks. That's all they are. A bunch of crooks. Let's go back to him sitting there saying, this is the guy that says, we'll secretly arrest you and disappear you. We'll torture you. You won't get a gun if we say so. No judge, no jury. Because I say so. Again, another guy who's openly served in foreign military. You know, he served in the Israeli military. And I'm not even an enemy of Israel. My point is, this guy's a terrorist. This guy is a usurper. It's just that simple. I mean, there it is. You have a foreigner saying, arrest Americans, secretly arrest them, conscript their children, and don't let them fly if they hadn't paid the private Federal Reserve through the IRS. I mean, it's that simple. Our country has been taken over by outside elements, by the globalists, by all these special interests. We're a joke. And they've got the propaganda, they got the police, they got the military. And they're getting ready to stage terror attacks, you better believe it. Let's go ahead and go back to this terrorist-in-chief, Rahm Emanuel.
You are known as maybe a possible terrorist. You cannot buy a handgun in America.
No judge, no jury, no fly list. You're on no fly list. Look at him smirking. Just drips criminality.
I am not one far from liking the mixing of politics and policy, but as my old boss used to say,
if you saw him in a dark alley, you would turn away. I mean, he looks like a serial killer, doesn't he?
Out of that every day.
It's not just how people look, but he's a demon.
That terrorist list, and the NRA, I know where America is going to be every time, and they're going to make the right choice.
With the air gun terrorist.
We have got to start building on that. That is the right thing to take into the election, and it's the right policy. And if you're on that no-fly list, your access to the right to bear arms is canceled because you're not part of the American family.
You're not part of the American family.
There is no right.
You're a terrorist who wants to destroy our Bill of Rights.
That should be number one in what we do. Make sure there's a full force of the law behind the Brady Bill. So to all those who dedicate their lives to seeing sensible gun laws.
That's enough of him. It's sensible that, you know, no judge, no jury, no crime. Just you can't buy a gun, and we're not going to tell you why. The terror no-fly list is the no-buy list, the no-buy and sell list, the go to the FEMA camp, concentration camp list that they now admit they're building. Okay? Get out of my country, you foreign terrorists. Now, for the rest of the hour, and perhaps a little bit into the next, to take phone calls, is best-selling author James Wesley Rawls. He's written fiction, nonfiction. He's got a lot of amazing insights into things, and of course he was also in Army intelligence, held a top secret security clearance with a special background investigation, access sensitive compartmentalized information. He was awarded officer, specialty 35A, tactical all-source intelligence officer. I'll go through all of his interesting bio here. He was a captain in Army intelligence, just to give you the short end of it. He'll be with us to talk about preparation for the engineered collapse that the Agenda 21 globalists have been carrying out. But you know that for the last hour plus, I have been beside myself with the fact that capital controls are being implemented on the U.S. And I was told now 3 years ago that John Wayne's family was leaving the country by John Wayne's, I'm going to just leave it at that, and by countless other wealthy people, powerful people. I talked to a lady who's one of the biggest defense contractor owners in the world, worth billions. She left the country 4 years ago. I've told you about that over and over again. And they said, look, you won't be able to get anything out of the country if you don't leave in the next few years. And that's the word. That's why all the big money people, even the globalists themselves, have been getting their money out of the country and buying armored redoubts or digging in here in the country. And all these elitists are building, you know, these 5, 10, 20, some cases $30 million armored subterranean homes with, you know, machine gun turrets. Why are they doing this? Because they've done a great job at carrying out this Agenda 21 resource war of deindustrializing the West, getting us into debt, signing us onto their derivatives, and getting ready to fully implode the country. And as we slide into depression, they keep telling us everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's wonderful, as the crime rate increases, as all of this happens. But the good news is, between 5 and 7 million, because it varies month to month. Previously, the record was like 2 million guns in a month, was the record month a few years ago. Now it's over 5 million guns a month. Many big manufacturers have announced they are suspending new orders for 6 months to a year. Small manufacturers are making the same announcement because they're so behind on orders. The government's buying giant armored vehicles, hundreds of millions of rounds a month, 400 and something million this month, 300 million that month, 200 million this month, digging in. They've got the preachers and clergy response teams brainwashing their flocks, submit to government with what's coming, do what you're told, take the shots. Government's now shooting kids up without parental consent. Again, they're doing whatever they want, and they're announcing, we'll secretly arrest you if we want. We'll disappear you. You're not going to be able to fly out of the country if the IRS says you haven't paid. No judge, no jury. We're going to put you on a no-gun buy list. No judge, no jury, no crime, if you're on the no-fly list. And I've told you for over 10 years, because they were already talking about it even before 9/11, the no-fly list will be expanded to a no-work list, a no-buy-sell list with the digital photo. You'll still be able to use cash, but it'll be connected to a digital photo in all transactions and an internet ID on online purchases, and that's in the Cybersecurity Act they're trying to pass right now. CISPA. I mean, I'm getting chills every 5 seconds now, okay? Because I knew it was all coming. I read it from their own documents, but it is a total banker infiltration of the preachers, the police, the military, the media, the entire culture, and Forbes and Fox. And I've even heard national hosts going, better pay those taxes or you're not going to be able to fly out of the country and go on that vacation. Folks, this is capital controls. This is right out of Nazi Germany, right out of Soviet Russia. I mean, this is one of the big hallmarks. Definition of capital control: any measure taken by a government, central bank, or other regulatory body to limit the flow of foreign capital in and out of domestic economy. But this is even worse. They don't want a grassroots economy, so they're putting a capital control on that. That's why even Forbes said, why are they raiding thousands of lemonade stands? Why are they attacking peaceful protesters? Why? Why are they? Because it's here, folks. As well as market-based forces, capital controls can affect many asset classes, such as equities, bonds, foreign exchange trades. Tight capital controls are often found in developing countries where the capital reserves are lower and more susceptible to volatility. It means when they're devaluing a currency is one of the big ones. Now, that's from Investopedia. That's their definition of it. I have flown and seen it. It's been in the news. I did an interview with a guy. He had 6 silver coins, little ones. Computer programmer. And he was going to Vegas to a coin show. And they weren't even very valuable. He was just going to, trade them and stuff. I saw them. They were just U.S. silver rounds, worth like $35.